Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari, and in the series of Evidence Act, we were focusing on chapter 6, which is all about the exclusion of oral by documentary evidence covered between section 91 to 100. I have given a bonus video in my last video where I have explained a platform for section 93 to 98, which is on patent and latent ambiguity with a beautiful chart and all the legal concepts. Here I am going to cover the first part, which is covered between section 93 and 94, which is all about patent ambiguity. Of course, I will first explain in brief what is patent ambiguity, and then I will get into section 93 and 94 with the section charts and illustrations along with case laws. Hope that helps. With that, I am taking you to slide number 1. This is a repetitive slide which we have already seen in my previous video where I have discussed the types of documents, and in detail I have discussed this particular slide. There we have already understood what is a plain document, which is simple, straight and easy document, and what are ambiguous documents, which are not clear or which have more than one interpretation or which doesn't have any one obvious meaning. These are ambiguous documents, and they again divided into two categories. They are patent ambiguity and latent ambiguity. Here in this video we are discussing patent ambiguity, which means in the face of the document itself we see some inconsistency or some uncertain language, and we have discussed the illustration of Mr. X giving his car to A or B or C. Now we are not very sure whether to give it to A or to B or to C. Now that is the ambiguity which is very clear on the face of the document itself, which is called as patent ambiguity. To understand this more, let us get into section 93 and 94 along with illustrations, charts and case laws. Section 93 discusses about exclusion of evidence to explain or amend ambiguous document. It says when the language used in a document is on its face ambiguous or defective, evidence may not be given of facts which would show its meanings or supply its defects. Now, when the language used in the document itself is ambiguous or defective, in that case, no more evidence can be given to show the meaning or any kind of supplying its defects, etc. That is completely forbidden under section 93. To explain section 93, I have used two mathematical formulas. Now, you can call it as chart or illustration, whatever you want. Here in the first illustration, there is 1 into or divided by 1 is equal to 1. Now, this is quite confusing. If you see the red box, we don't know whether to use into or divided by. Now, that brings some confusion, and that is ambiguous, and because of that defect, that document is defective and you cannot give any further evidence to prove that whether it is into or divided by. If you go to the second box, there is 1, then the symbol box is completely empty, then you have again 1 which is equal to 1. Now what does this blank box means? Now that's a question, and this is a document. You cannot give any evidence to prove what is that blank means. That is all about section 93. Going to the illustrations, the first illustration says that A agrees in writing to sell a horse to B for rupees 1000 or rupees 1500. Now what is the amount? Whether it is 1000 rupees or 1500 rupees. The consideration is not clear in this contract, and evidence cannot be given to show which price was to be given. Now after this contract is completed, now what is that you are going to say in front of the court? Whether it is 1000 or 1500. You cannot give any oral evidence on to prove that whether it was supposed to be 1000 or 1500. That is what section 93 restricts. Then comes the second illustration. A deed contains blanks. Evidence cannot be given of facts which would show how they were meant to be filled. When a deed has blank portion, you cannot give evidence to fill what is that blank all about. and that's what exactly discussed in the case law, that is Food Corporation of India versus Birendra Nath Dhar. What happened in this case law? There was a column related to transport charges which was left blank. It was supposed to be filled, but it was left blank, and the court held that a deed contained blanks. Evidence cannot be given of facts which would show how they were meant to be filled. That means the blank was supposed to be filled. Now you cannot give any evidence to prove that what was supposed to be filled in. That is what held in this particular case law. That's all about section 93. Now let's move to section 94. Section 94 discusses about exclusion of evidence against application of document to existing facts. The section says when language used in a document is plain in itself and when it applies accurately to the existing facts, evidence may not be given to show that it was not meant to apply to such facts. Here the document is very clear, a plain document which gives a clear meaning, which exactly shows what exactly are available. After everything is set right, you cannot say that you meant something else or the meaning is not right. That is not possible under section 94. Like for example, 1 into 1 is equal to 1. If you have filled all these boxes, after filling all these boxes, it is very clear mathematical rule that 1 into 1 is 1. You cannot change any of the box meaning because all the meaning are very plain, very clear, very straight, and they all meaningfully sit in this formula and they all are right. Now that you cannot prove something is wrong in this particular document, that's what exactly given as an illustration also. It says A sells to B by deed my estate at Rampur containing 100 bighas. A has an estate at Rampur containing 100 bighas. Evidence may not be given of the fact that the estate meant to be sold was one situated at a different place and of a different size. You cannot say it because you have already mentioned where is the estate and what is how many bighas it has. All of that are very clear, and when you go to Rampur, such estate of such number of bighas is available. When everything is right, now you cannot prove that I was intending something else because the documents speak for themselves. That's very clear. Let's understand two important case laws. The first one is 1948 case law. The second one that I am discussing is much older, that is of 1900 case law. And in this 1948 case law also, the 1900 case law is referred. That is why I am reading one after the another. Now in the Suraya versus Bal Gangadhar Ramakrishna Reddy, in this case law it was held or laid the rule that where the terms of a document are plain and unambiguous, no evidence of subsequent conduct of the parties as to how they understood them or treated their relationship is admissible. Once the terms are very clear, after that any of the party cannot say what they meant because the meaning is very clearly understood. Both the parties have very plain document. In that case, afterwards you cannot give any different meaning. That is what held here. And while laying this rule, they have referred the case law, that is North Eastern Railway Company versus Lord Hastings. In this case law, it was held that the words of a written instrument must be construed according to their natural meaning, and it appears to me that no amount of acting by the parties can alter or qualify words which are plain and unambiguous. This was held in the year 1900 itself, and in the 1948 case, that is Suraya versus Bal Gangadhar Ramakrishna Reddy, the same words were again repeated. That's very clear. When the terms are very clear, when the meaning is very clear, the parties at later stage cannot give a different meaning as under section 94. What's happening in my classroom, Nishan?
I think a donkey has come to your class.
I think you are the only donkey I have in my classroom. Don't do all of that.
I'm not a donkey. With that, I'm concluding this session. Please subscribe our channel. Please like, share and comment our videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.